Newscasters. What is their job? To just tell you the news? No. It is to drive the masses. And the masses respond to the news. Let's see what this guy is saying about the housing market.
Hey everybody, Josh Sears in a World Alternative Media here, and the housing market is coming up on a absolute breaking point. Yes, housing markets are hyper.
Now, he just said he was from alternative news, but this is what they're saying in mainstream too. So watch, if the same alternative news is saying the same thing that the mainstream is saying, it could be all part of the same program.
Localized, but considering what's happening to the global economy right now, considering what's happening to the banking system right now, this is going to impact most people. If you are in a big city and even in small towns, we're going to see a lot of wreckage here. Of course, we are looking at stories like this out of CNBC. It says 1 in 5 home sellers are now dropping.
CNBC, and he said he's from alternative media. So, I don't subscribe to him. Don't subscribe to the alternative media people who are saying the same thing as mainstream. Or another clue, if you're getting proper news, is if there's suddenly an influx of everybody saying the same thing. Newscasters are casting spells, and they're driving the masses to do as they say. When I'm watching newscasters, I want to make sure that I can feel their sincerity and that they're not coming from a script or working for somebody else in whatever they're saying. Because that's where we go wrong. Getting paid to read scripts for somebody else. We don't know if it's the truth. This young woman had a dream, and I'm going to share it with you. It's on Facebook under The Dark Days to Come is the page on Facebook. So I saw her sincerity throughout, but I'm going to shut it off towards the end, around the end, because she starts going into her interpretations of the dream and how Jesus, the man, really is coming and he's going to save everybody, and it really doesn't matter if you're an atheist, because she was. You know, prophecies and predictions, I don't think we can really count on her. And so I'm not going to share it. But we can count on her dream as being real. Her confusion comes when she talks about the wolf. She said, I don't know what the wolf represents. I know what the ego represents. I know what the angels represents. I know what the trumpet represents. I don't know what the wolf represents, is what she said. And that's her problem, and that's everybody's problem. Because Jesus said, beware of wolves in sheep's clothing. You won't recognize the wolf. The wolf will appear to be your God, maybe. You know, and they may appear. Well, listen to her dream.
Get started on the dream. If you would like a backstory on how I became a Christian and just essentially who I am, I do have a testimony video up. I don't have that much time to get into all of that right now, but feel free to check that out if you would like. So the dream is pretty simple. It started with me walking down a sidewalk in like this neighborhood that I had never been to before, and it was nice outside. It was warm and sunny, and overall everything seemed like normal, you know, like it was just another day. As I was walking down the sidewalk, I feel like this wind blew over my head, right? So I looked up like to see what it was, and I see like this giant eagle with its wings spread out really, really wide. And this eagle was huge, like, and translucent, it wasn't brown like a normal eagle. It was like translucent, like I could see through it, and it was kind of like, it was really odd. I remember having like conscious thoughts in this dream, like almost as if it wasn't a dream, like I was really there, like I was there. It was realistic. And I can actually remember having thoughts like, why am I seeing this? Like, why is this eagle so close and so big and translucent? You know, like, normally in dreams, like, you see something unusual, but you don't question it, you know? It's just normal. But in this dream, it felt real, like it wasn't a dream. So, anyway, I kept walking and kept looking up at the sky. So I kept walking, and as I looked up, this time I saw a wolf, right? Like a wolf in the sky. I know it sounds really strange, and it is, but it was in this position, like it was about to attack something, you know? Like it was about to, like, jump and attack its prey or something, like its mouth was open. So that was strange, and like at this point, I started panicking, like not because I was scared, but like I had this, I don't know, like I felt this sense of urgency, like an understanding that something was about to happen. I just felt like uneasy, like something's about to happen, and why do I feel this way? And I don't know, it was just like this sense of urgency was somehow wired in me. So I kept walking down the sidewalk, right? And right ahead of me, way in the distance, like, I see these 3 giant angels, like angels, flying in a circle above a city. It kind of looked like the city of Phoenix. I live in Phoenix, and it just looked exactly like the city of Phoenix. And their wings, like, these angels, they look just like the paintings we see, you know? And when I saw them, I was so shocked in the dream. I said this already, but, like, it just isn't normal, at least for me, to be cognitive in a dream, like, to know. Just, it was like, it was really happening, you know? Like, I'm seeing angels with my own 2 eyes right now. And it was like, what? You know, I'm seeing angels. And there they were, like, their wingspan, they were huge. Like, their wingspan was like the size of, like, a car. Like, they were really, really big. It was so real. And, like, they were so far away, I couldn't see their faces, but as I was standing there watching these 3 angels, I heard, like, there was this noise.
Oh my God.
You guys.
Sorry about that. I have construction going on right in front of my house.
It was the most terrifying part of the dream. Like, I heard this noise, like a horn sound, like a siren sound, and it was terrifying. It was terrifying. It was almost as if there were, like, speakers embedded in the earth. It was loud, you know, like, this sound was coming from all around, and the entire earth was, like, it was shaking and vibrating with the sound. So the sound was like, it's a sound I've never heard before, but it can be compared, you know, it can be compared to sirens that we hear. You know, those sirens, that sound when there's an emergency, but it was different. It was, like, very, very low and almost like a natural sound. So, like, the sirens we have here, like, this is important, you guys. Like, it's important that I explain this, because it was so terrifying. Like, I want you to know what it was like, you know. But the sirens we have here, the ones we've heard, they're like piercing, you know, and high pitched. But this one was like very, very low, like a blowhorn. And I'll try to make the sound for you, but it's nothing is gonna do it justice. But it was like a long, drawn out, like like that's not even cutting it. That's not even. But anyway, it was like really, really, really loud, and not loud like it hurt my ears, but like loud as in I knew somehow that the entire world could hear it too. You know what I mean? So here's where it gets really deep. Like, when I heard this siren or horn, I had this feeling, and I've never really had like feelings in dreams at this point, like an actual feeling, like a scared feeling. I was scared, and the feeling was like, I don't know, y'all. I just don't want to have that feeling ever again. Like, these feelings were like feelings of no hope. Like, there was just this understanding that there was just no hope. And when I say no hope, I mean like I had no instinct to like run or try to save myself by hiding or like just running away. Like, I didn't try to go find my family or call them or look around for other people. I just stood there, frozen, just listening to this siren sound. And I remember thinking, like, it's over. You know, like, it was just the worst feeling I've ever had before. Like, it was just the worst feeling I've ever had. Like, hopelessness, regret, just an innate knowing that it's over. And like, I had like this acceptance like of it. I accepted my fate, kind of thing. When I woke up, I didn't know what to think, like what to make of the dream. And at the time, it was really rare for me to have a dream. So I just didn't know what it meant or if it meant anything. So I did some research online. When I went online, I thought, like, when I was Googling it, right? And I was like, dream about an eagle, a wolf, 3 angels, and a horn, right? And as I was, you know, looking through articles and stuff, came across a Bible verse, you guys. Like, a Bible verse. And it was Revelation 8:13. And Revelation 8:13 says, "As I watched, I heard an eagle that was flying in midair call out in a loud voice, 'Woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth, because of the trumpet blasts about to be sounded by the other 3 angels.'" The trumpet blasts. The other 3 angels. So, like, when I read this, I just knew. I knew God gave me that dream. Like, it wasn't enough to believe in the Christian God at the time. And if you look at my testimony video, like, I explain all that. But, like, I was like, like, this is from God. This has to be. That's some kind of divine warning. And those sirens I was hearing, those were the trumpets. And the 3 angels and the eagle, like, it all added up. It was right there in the verse. And, like, the wolf part, like, it still confuses me a little bit, you know, because it's not in the verse, but I've prayed about it a lot. Like, I've prayed about this dream a lot. And,
Okay. So now she goes into introspection and her thought process after. And this is where we go wrong, is going back to the old scriptures. I think the scriptures can offer people some guidance, but mostly it's all miserable. And people twist the words and the meaning. The wolf is in sheep's clothing here. The wolf is God here. People pray to the wolf, the one with money, the one with all the followers, the one with all the media. The wolf works in covert, secret targeting. Not everybody. No. He needs to first gather all his supply in the congregations and in the auditoriums. He needs your ears. And all it takes for a person is just to believe another person over themselves. The wolf has supply in the universities and in the congregations. And they do the wolf's bidding. They learned from the wolf. The wolf is the media from script readers who don't know what they're saying. They're just getting paid to read or to tell other people's stories that they don't really know anything about. Listen to people that really have stories and meaningful events in their lives that spark your interest. But don't judge. Like, you can't judge people or their experiences. It's about taking the information in and sitting on it for a while until something else comes and helps you connect dots. I was visited by beings of light in 2016. And it was not, again, it wasn't a dream, it was a visit. Because I wasn't asleep yet. And I knew it. I was conscious and aware. My body was very sleepy. I was very tired, ready to go to sleep. But my cat, my little new kitten, was keeping me up on my bed, prancing around, when all of a sudden the room filled up with golden light. And above my head, I couldn't see any form of angels or people. I saw beams, like BEAMS, beams of light. And over to the side was my deceased son, and I knew he was there. He hadn't said anything or I hadn't felt anything, but I knew he was there, my son. And the beings of light were very grave, and I could feel their hopelessness. I felt that in that event. I kept saying before, the word is grave. Like the beings of light were grave, very, very grave, about the inhabitants of Earth. And they were downloading me for, it felt like an hour, information, details about history, the present, and the future. And I know my feelings throughout the whole thing were a combination of, I knew it, and, oh my God, what are we going to do? I knew it, and oh my God, what are we going to do? And they also gave me information about my son's life He was here for 25 years and he died in 2003, trapped in flames. And I was told that story, the story of my son, the story of my father, was all on purpose. That they came as the meek. These are the parts of my dream, or event, if you will, that I find hard to go into much detail because it's so outrageous to me. That we came with a plan, with a plan and contracts with our loved ones. I'm in contract with my grandmother, my father, my mother, and my son. We are in contract together this life. We had planned this life. Before we were born. And the dream that I'd had before, after I had a hypnosis visit with Dr. Brian Rees, that was another dream where I was there. It wasn't a dream, I was there. I was in North Vancouver as a spirit, following my mother when she was a child, looking at her life when she was a child, seeing the whole thing. I saw her imagination when she was a child. And then I saw myself in a dark place. I felt it was in a different place. And I saw 4 beings, blue beings, like beings, Beings this time, beings. They were blue. They didn't seem to have a soul in them. And we were picking roles. And I heard my dad say, "Who will bear the brunt of her anger?" And today I know it meant my mother. And I raised my hand for that. And I went into the spirit of the second being to the right. Very hard to explain and articulate when it's not something we see on TV every day. You know, people only believe what they've seen on TV or heard in the news before. And this all is new. This is not what we learn. But some of the prophecies of the scriptures are correct. And the problem is people think Christ is a man. And Jesus was Christ, for sure. For sure, Jesus was Christ. But what is Christ? He said, we are all Christ. Jesus did say that. Christ is consciousness to your spirit, to your soul, to your conscience. That's it in the bottom line. Christ is conscious to your conscience. That you can't go outside of your own conscience. You can't be swayed into temptation. You can't be led into temptation. You would watch these commercials or cartoons or porn or football and you'd go, oh my God, what am I watching this for? This is going to hurt my soul. And you'd know that intuitively. I'm not watching this. I'm not listening to this. And I know in my life, I did that a lot. There was music I couldn't listen to. There were shows I could not watch. And it was my spirit rebuking it. And that is what we forget, is our spirit is the boss, not the ego. The ego is in motion with the popular culture and will go along with anything. And that's what's gone wrong, is going along with the masses, going along with the popular culture, and being led by the newscasters who will tell you the news and then you'll follow suit. You'll make it happen because you're thinking and imagining and manifesting from our news sources. So it's very difficult to know the truth and know who to believe or what to believe about anything. So I do listen to everybody until I I feel that they're taking their stories and turning them into the same old biblical stories that they have grown used to in the Hollywood world. There is no Jesus Christ superstar. But you can fantasize about it and make yourself feel connected to that kind of belief. But one thing she said in her dream was that she was alone and she didn't go look for her family. That caught my attention. That did catch my attention. Did she question why she didn't go look for her family? Or is she disconnected from her soul group? And we can do that. We can have events and dreams, spiritual visits, and misinterpret it completely because we judge based on what we learned or based on what we're told rather than based on what we know. I'm so glad that after the two big events was the dream of me picking this life and the event of the beings of light coming with my deceased son. They can't be... If I had judged and said what it all meant as if I'm a know-it-all, I would have been wrong. I had to sit and wait on it and allow my journey to continue without my ego getting in the way. I just had to know that I really don't know anything. I don't know nothing. And then when you go to that, I don't know anything, then you're going to be okay. Then you can observe and allow for information that comes, and the whole thing is going to be, does it make sense to you? If it doesn't make sense to me, it's not going to be believed from now on, that's for sure. And if I have a feeling about something, I'm going to trust that above any words anybody says or anything I read in the past. I trust my feelings. When I watch those commercials on television, drug commercials, and the side effects, the list of side effects, I'm going, this world is completely insane. And that's what I see. I see an insane world with people in delusion, looking for somebody to come and save them, and following the same masses. They don't want to be alone. They don't want to feel alone. Everybody needs to have a sense of belonging, and trust me, everybody does belong. Everybody has sovereign right to life. But we've been hijacked in the mind control, and our thoughts are not our own, unless they are your own. So they can't be trusted. The thoughts here, the words, and the stories can't be trusted unless they're coming from the source. I don't know, I like to watch other people with their stories and dreams, but I never take I don't take what I learned here and try and make sense of it, because nothing will make sense. We don't die. That's we don't die, and Jesus said that. He was all about reincarnation. And not only do we not die, there's nowhere to go. We are in an enclosed system, and there is nowhere to go except back here with our soul group. I think the gravity, to me, I feel the gravity is nothing to do with Earth or humanity. It's more to do with soul. It has to do with scattered souls are going to become extinct. I don't know what that means, but it means that you need your thread, you need your parents, and you need your children. That's life. That's your thread. That's your bloodline. That's your life. And they've torn us apart. And my group, my soul group, knew that. We all know that, actually, on the other side. We know. We know what's going on here in this prison when we die. And we're going to keep repeating the cycle, living in our children and living with psychopaths in farms and daycares and schools. But you have to know that every system here is trying to replace God, not lift God. They want to replace God with artificial intelligence. I feel the earth vibrating underneath me. I hear the humming of the earth is very, very unhappy. I also feel it in my spiritual world. Sorrow. Because people aren't getting it. They're in fantasies without feelings. You need feelings to survive. Your feelings are your energy for life. And what they're doing with Hollywood is they're sucking your energy out of you, and you have to stop them yourself. You have to be the Christ you're seeking. You have to turn off the idle stars. You have to rebuke what you know is evil. If you don't rebuke it, you're part of it. If you're taking money to stay in it and do things that are against your conscience, you're giving up your energy. I was wondering, how does that work, the energy? And the best way I can describe it is, you won't have the energy when you see your movie to come back. I don't think so. I think that's what's going on, is people aren't having the energy to come back. We are energy, but it's energy of love. And it's going dark. And that's our right brain is going dark. God is leaving the building. And the only ones that can save us are us. By living in the truth, telling truthful stories, not telling other people's stories, telling our own stories, and then making up our own minds on what is the truth and what is not.